What's up, everyone? Welcome to Gotta Watch 'Em All, Lured Up, episode 17. My name is Ken Pescator, joined by my co-hosts Melissa and Adam. What's going on, guys?
What up, what up?
Hi, friends.
And today we are joined by a special guest. We do have Joe Art from the Pokémon GO Podcast on board. Joe, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just here representing the Giant Size Team Up Network. So.
Yes, that's awesome, man. We're glad to have you. We've been going back and forth on social media for a while, so we're excited that we're able to finally connect. You. Yeah.
I am very excited to be here, so
awesome.
It'll be great.
We're going to talk about a couple things on today's show. We have a lot to cover. There's been a lot of little things that have happened in the world of Pokemon Go. Finally, we have the medals serving some sort of purpose, and this is to be debated whether or not that's a good thing or not. We have some information that came through on Deoxys and Castform. We have Niantic acquiring another company, and I think this one's going to be very, very interesting. There's a lot of good that could come from this acquisition. Some EX raid passes went out for this past week. There was another EX raid yesterday, and there's just been a lot of stuff going on in the game, but we'll cover it all. Today is Sunday, February 4th, 2018. So I guess to start off the show, Joe, if you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction, give us your history of Pokemon. How'd you get into Pokemon Go? Did you have any history with Pokemon prior to Go? And then let us know your level, your team, and you know what your style of play is.
So I've been playing Pokemon in some form or another since I was a teenager. My first game was Pokemon Blue, and my cousins gave it to me because it no longer saved, so they didn't want it. So every time I played it, I started fresh, and so
that's dedication.
It's like
right
Dark
there.
Souls. It's like a Nuzlocke.
Yeah, I don't know if I could have done that.
So there were many Saturdays where I beat the whole game or got pretty close to it. I think I usually averaged around Rock Cave. Because then I was just like, screw it, I don't want to walk through there. But yeah, so I did that. I collected the cards. I didn't really play the card game, but you know, it was the cool thing just to collect the cards. And as far as Pokemon Go goes, I joined in with the Pokemon Go podcast about 8 months before the game even went live. And so we started recording there, and when the game went live, we actually switched networks. We were originally with Podastery Studios, and we switched over to Giant Size Team Up Network, and I was the only host from the previous format that continued with the new network. Bo, who started the podcast, occasionally comes on still, but for the most part, he just sits back and listens.
Well, shout out to Bo, because we're actually registered with the Satchel Podcast Player as well. So I know you guys talk about that a lot, and Bo is one of the creators, right?
Yes, yep. That's kind of why he got away from the Pokemon Go podcast, so that he could spend more time with Satchel. And he's got a couple other projects that he's working on, but yeah, that was part of the reason why he wanted to transition away from it. So, but you asked what my level and my team affiliation was. I am level 35, and I am a Mystic player.
Yeah, Melissa is also Mystic. I'm Valor, and Adam is Instinct. So the trio that we have here, we're all on different sides of the fence.
Well, like
I'm sorry, Adam.
Like I say every time, sorry, Adam.
Exactly. It's okay. He's eating glue. It's fine. But, no,
nom.
But that's awesome, man. It's always good to hear people that are Pokemon Go players that have a history with Pokemon in other forms. You know, that's one of the things we like to do here on the channel is kind of bring people to other forms of Pokemon and let them enjoy it in different ways. So it's cool to hear that, you know, you played the games and then you were into the cards. So right on, man. That's awesome. I don't know about the Mystic thing, but you know, everything else was awesome.
No, correct. He was very correct in that.
All right, so let's play catch up a little bit. We're going to go back about a week. There was a new 60-second trailer that dropped for Pokemon Go. This was unexpected, and in my opinion, out of all the trailers that have come out, even the one, you know, pre-Go Fest with, you know, explaining the when they first showed Lugia and all that, this is probably my favorite, and I'm sure everyone has seen it here, but it's narrated by Stephen Fry. It's a 60-second spot that just kind of really hits you in the feels of what that sense of wonder and, exploration could be with Pokemon Go. And I'm sure, Joe, your feelings are exactly the same way, that this was awesome, right?
Yeah, it was very well done. I mean, all of their trailers have been very well done. But it was interesting hearing Stephen Fry's voice, because it almost came across as a documentary.
Yep.
Yes.
Almost like one of the Disney. Well, is it Disney that does? Yeah, they do the different documentaries, the nature documentaries, and
Right.
and that's almost what it felt like.
That's exactly how it felt for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got that same vibe. And even with the cinematography, like the way it's shot and the camera angles they have, and how expressive they make the actual nature in the environment, I got that same vibe completely. And Adam and I actually talked about that on the Gotta Watch 'Em All podcast last week. We said exactly that. It really feels like a documentary. Like it feels like you're really kind of
Feels like you're right there.
Yeah, like you're right there.
Well,
like
it makes
just
you
peeking
really
in.
feel like you could really see these things in real life. Like,
They are real. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, Pokemon are real, guys. Come on.
But one of the things that I do want to mention was at the very end of the trailer, they kind of have a new little slogan. It said, "Go explore, go discover, go collect." And I geek out for marketing kind of stuff. And when I first saw this, I was like, that's it. That's the meal ticket right there. Like, this was such an awesome little tagline. I hope they latch onto that and kind of run with that, because I think that really gives you a good impression of what to expect with this game. The exploration, the sense of discovery, and then, the collector's bug, which, if you have it on that side, it's like me.
the OCD collector. I need them all, I need them all, I need them all, I need them all.
Joe, I know Brian from your show, isn't he running a living Dex right now?
I'm not sure if he still is. He has been, but he was toying with the idea of not anymore, just because it takes up so much bag space.
Yep.
So I'll have to follow up with him and see if he still is.
So I've been running a living Dex since day one, and I spend more time managing and maintaining the back end of my Pokemon Go experience. It's like, man, I wish I had this much more time to go catch Pokemon. I'm out here doing housekeeping. But anyway, this trailer was really cool. I'll link it in the description. For a 60-second spot, it really has a lot of message, and it's pretty powerful. I was very impressed with it. And Melissa just watched it for the first time, and she had all the cute sounds coming out of her. She was like, oh, so cute.
It really was super cute. Like when you first see Wilmer swimming through the ocean, I'm like, oh my god, it's Wilmer. Like, that'd be so cool.
It's so awesome. It's so cool, and it was nice to see. Masquerain is in there too, so that it kind of gives you a little bit of a hint of what could be next. And it's interesting that one Pokemon is featured, and it's like, hey, everyone else is released, and why is Masquerain in there if it's not released? But maybe.
And it wasn't in there just once.
It's like featured.
Over.
Yeah, like the whole sky filled with them. It's like, what are they trying to tell us? Is there like another wave coming already? Hey man, maybe they'll drop something when Kyogre goes away on the after Valentine's Day. Maybe
that'd be fantastic.
I want more Pokemon.
Yeah, they'll give it to us on the 12th.
Yeah, right? They'll do the same thing where we have a little bit of an overlap. That would be cool. All right, let's jump over to this medal thing. Now, Trainer Tips just put out a good video, and I think even the title of the video was something to the effect of medals finally have a purpose. And I don't know if, Adam, if you actually looked in-game at any of this stuff, but apparently now there's going to be 3 medals that actually will unlock stuff in the game depending on your medal level. And this is all going to be avatar items, so clothing items. Now, the interesting part is they are gender specific, and there's items that unlock with the bronze, silver, and gold level of these 3 medals. So you have the Jogger medal, the Fisherman medal, and the Battle Girl medal. Jogger medal, I would imagine most players, if you're over level 30, you're probably close to, if not already have the gold Jogger medal. But you can unlock this jogging suit, sunglasses, the watch. I actually bought the watch. I think it's a nice little option to not have to wear gloves, because you can't wear the gloves at the same time as the watch. And then there's a fisherman outfit you get with the fisherman medal. Now, I am so far away from a gold fisherman medal. I think I'm at this is like so many people's holdout medal. And I think, Joe, on your last show, you guys were talking about this, right? Because you were buying Magikarp spawn, right?
Yeah, so my normal spot is at a park where there's a pond, and it follows a stream, and so a lot of Magikarp there.
Yeah, I think I'm only at like 104 or something like that. So I'm like ways off for that. But that's like the one thing I want to unlock is the Fisherman Vest, which is the unlock that's behind the gold medal. And it's like, that's the one I need.
Yeah, it shows that I've only caught 29 big Magikarp.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Wow, dude. So you're way off, man.
I missed the water event. I came for like the last... I like re-logged in, and I only caught the last 2 or 3 days of it.
Yeah, during that water event, I think I picked up like 150 to 200 something Magikarp. I think I caught 80 in one day or something like that. But it's always nice to... Joe, you have a shiny?
Yeah, I've got a shiny Magikarp.
Oh, so jelly.
Oh, jelly.
We're all recent to the shiny club in various forms. Like Adam's got a couple shinies. I've got Pikachu. Melissa has Snorunt.
And Pikachu.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
But I've been saving my candies for so long. I want Magikarp more than any other shiny. Like,
yeah.
Yes, give me Magikarp. It's like immediately. I don't care if it's 10 CP. It's going to Red Gyarados. Immediately. I want to hear everyone's opinions on this medal thing, because it's one thing to have to unlock items in the game. I'm all for that. That's totally fine. But these unlockables, it's what you're actually unlocking is the ability to purchase things in the store, because they're not giving it to you.
It's corny.
I'm
sorry. I gotta just say it. I think it's corny.
A lot of people feel the same way. They're saying, "Hey, look, we're putting in the legwork. We're unlocking this in game, but we can't have it. We just have the option to buy it, and the stuff isn't necessarily cheap.
It's not.
Like if you want the whole outfit, you're spending a couple hundred coins, and if you're doing,
it's like I've got egg incubators to save for.
Yeah.
Like I'm not buying those.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't know. I mean, I bought the watch. I didn't think twice about it because that was one little cheap item. But if you want to build the whole outfit, who's going to spend 700, coins or something like that on like a whole getup? I don't know. I think it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm weird with the coins because I spend money in the game, but I know most people don't. Hey, look, this is a taboo subject. I want to organize a roundtable of Pokemon Go influencers, YouTubers, podcasters to talk about how taboo it is to talk about spending money in this game. Like, I know who likes it. I don't want to spend money, but that's not to say I haven't dropped a couple $100 on the game, over its life. But that's just how I play the game. But it's definitely a taboo subject, and it is what it is. But it's like one of those things. It's like Voldemort. You can't say it. You can't say it. It's like, you bought coins. Like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I bought coins. What's wrong with that? But how do you feel about that, Joe? Do you guys in your circle and in your podcast? I mean, you guys dropping real life money in this?
I spent $10 on it fairly early on, but other than that, no, I haven't spent any money.
See,
on
that is commendable. That's amazing. I spent $10 like 3 days ago. Dude, I was doing $20 a week pretty consistently for a while.
That's.
I need my incubators.
That's bananas.
Melissa's like, this is the first I've heard of this.
Bananas.
It's like, is that
where
I
our
have to
money's
shut
going.
off all the lights?
Yeah, that's why you complain it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I know someone that spends a couple $100 every month.
Oh.
So, and that's not all on himself either. He spends it on a friend who is has agoraphobia, I believe is what he said.
Aww.
Okay.
And so he's trying to get him to go out.
That's
I don't know
awesome.
if he's still spending the money on him, but he was for a while there.
I would drop some bucks on him.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather drop my bucks on him playing than on myself playing.
Well, that's actually really cool. That's actually pretty awesome and pretty noble. And see, man, the power of Pokemon.
I like that. They just put a big smile on my face.
But, I'd like to hear what the community has to say about this. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know how you guys feel out there in the Pokeverse about having to unlock this stuff. And some of this stuff is difficult to unlock. And then once you finally do it, you still have to shell out some cash to take advantage of it. I'm not sure how really the community is going to feel about this. But we'll see. Some people are like whatever with the avatar items anyway, so.
No, I like dressing my guy up. It's fun. But I don't want to pay $200 for, 200 Poke coins for orange shorts.
Yeah.
Sorry. Nope.
I want to know who thinks they've got the most big Magikarp. Like, what listener thinks they have the most big Magikarp?
Well, I know isn't it not? It's
listeners?
not Terry Wolf, right?
No, it's not. It's not Terry Wolf.
You guys are
Terry
like,
Wolf has
Terry,
less than
we
you.
got you beat.
I think he was 50 or 40s, something like that. I've got 153.
I think you might have the highest I've ever heard, because I don't know anyone locally around me that has that medal, because they're not common at all. And I live on the beach. I'm in the Jersey Shore, so I'm in a water biome for the most part, and it's when they spawn, I still get excited because they're just not around as much as I'd want them to be.
True story.
Another cool thing that came out of some independent data mining this week was someone from the Pogo dev group. His name is Chrales or something like that. I'll link to the article on GoHub, but some information on Deoxys and Castform has been seen in the network traffic, so it's not in the game master file, but we are seeing packets bouncing around with the data here. So what this is the 4 different types of Deoxys and Castform are seen in the network traffic. Now, this doesn't mean that they're necessarily the release is imminent, but there's something else happening that wasn't there before with these 2 Pokemon. Their stats are still kind of the default 1-1-1 type of thing for IVs, so we're not right there. Like when they changed like a Pokemon's moveset, when they changed Kyogre, gave him Waterfall, and took away Dragon Tail, it was like, all right, Kyogre's coming. I don't think this is necessarily an indication that these guys are, imminent, but I am so ready for Deoxys. Deoxys is one of the, Destiny Deoxys, the movie, one of my favorite Pokemon animated movies. So I'm very excited to get Deoxys in the game. Castform has got the cute factor going, but Deoxys is just kind of badass. And how do you guys take this with a grain of salt? Like, how do you guys feel about these kind of updates? Do they have much weight to them for you?
For me, it just indicates that they are planning on these guys. When and we're gonna actually see it is another story. The thing that intrigues me the most is that Deoxys has a speed form.
Yes,
and I know that he's got that in the video games as well, in the Game Boy games. But right now, speed doesn't really matter. I know that it. At one point, I haven't actually checked the formula in quite a while, but at one point, speed actually did impact max CP a little bit. But other than that, it hasn't come into play at all. And so I'm curious to see if this will turn into more for speed. I kind of doubt it, but I'm still curious.
Well, it would be interesting if they bring some kind of speed element in for the launch of PvP, where things are going to be a little bit more than just a tap fest or more than just a turn-based. You know what I mean? Where if there was simultaneous tapping and if we're local to each other and we're not having really any latency issues, if we tap at the same time and we're using the same Pokemon, will the Pokemon with the better speed stat get the attack in first? That's the kind of stuff I hope they rework, and that's the intriguing part when I saw the speed form as well, because there's no individual speed stat in Pokemon Go. Now, it is in the formula, and again, the old Trainer Tips videos, I remember he used to break down the formulas in detail and say, I know it does matter when they were doing like DPS calculations and things like that, but yeah, it's kind of an afterthought with the current statistical breakout, but that is interesting. That's a good point. That's a good point.
When I saw this, I'm like, that's so cool, because they can take, as far as raids go, they can take Castform, and just have all of its forms, but you have to wait around to find out which form it's going to be.
Yes, that
so
would
if it's
be cool.
raining, it's going to hatch into a raining one. If it's sunny, it's going to go into a sunny
that's
one.
really cool. That's actually really cool.
And if it's like cloudy or something, it can just be its normal self or something. Whatever the other, like cloudy or foggy or something.
Yeah, it's normal, sunny, rainy, and snowy. So
so then you get your five different chances, which makes that one level 1 or 2 raid boss, like, actually you have to be there. Like, I don't know, it's just exciting. And the same thing for Deoxys. That level 5 raid boss is going to be something that oh my god, this one's speed form. Like,
right.
What's the next one? Is it going to be defense, attack? Like,
that's cool. Yeah, I mean, these are good little tangents to like spin off and kind of, bang heads together about. These are great ideas. These are really cool that this kind of stuff.
I'm calling it right now.
No, yeah, well, dude, it sounds very likely. That would make total sense.
Yeah, we're writing it down in the book for you guys.
Well, because right now we're getting ready to transition to new raids, and more stuff is appearing in the data mines.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna have. Well, I think we're gonna see additional changes when Kyogre expires. I think we're gonna see something else in addition to another, legendary. Which please give me Rayquaza, because I just love that Pokemon. But
I need that DBZ Dragon.
Yeah, dude, and give me that shiny. It's one of the most badass shiny forms ever.
Who doesn't like a black dragon?
Yeah, dude. In the news, Niantic announced the acquisition of Escher Reality. Who is this small company? This is a really cool thing. And when they first announced this, they didn't really give any back history on the company. The company had their own website and a YouTube page, and there was some kind of stuff. But once I realized exactly what this company did, it started getting me very excited, and I'd like to bounce some ideas around here. So check this out. The Escher Reality has created a number of pioneering technological solutions, including persistent storage for AR objects in the real world. This sounds awesome. So, back in the day, this was probably 6 or 8 months ago, all the way back in the day, we had the guys from Pokémon GO Podcast on. They're now the AR club, right? So they're talking about all these AR apps all the time, and they had a great conversation last week about how they can be ultimately commercializing the sale of digital real estate. Because there's apps that can, when the app is running, you can have a persistent geographical location in the real world, an item placed in AR in that real place world, and if you were to walk up to it with your phone on with the app, and I would walk up to it with my phone on in the app, we would see that item living in that digital space together. It would be a shared space. Mm-hmm. So think of how this could be used in Pokemon Go, where they can add these kind of real-world locations to a Pokestop. And when you're in AR mode, you can walk up to the Pokestop with your camera on, really, and find items in the real world or find something. Like, this is awesome. This is so cool to me. Like,
so
I think
you would have to have your camera running the whole time, though?
On it, I don't know. Well, maybe they can identify, like, hey, this is an AR location. So get your phone out and, press this button or something like that. And then, boom, you go into the AR mode. Maybe if it's not in a catch sequence for a Pokemon, but similar. And you can, kind of look around for items. I think that would be awesome. I don't know.
Then for doing that, you'd get, like, an extra item.
Anything.
So it makes it worth it,
I think it'd be really cool. I think really neat.
I think the experience in itself would be kind of what makes it worth it to walk over, like if it was a special
but you're not going
marker.
to do it every time. No. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, it would really be for the people that are on foot that have the time to be out there and do it. I mean, I go plus, 98% of my Pokestops, so I'm driving, you know what I mean?
As do I.
So it's like, I'm not going to be able to take advantage of it like that, but this could be something cool. Like, picture, on Community Day, they turn these things on or something like that, where, maybe it's very limited. Maybe it's just at sponsored locations, who knows? It's just, this is the kind of thing that gets my, my ideas kind of racing.
Get your gears grinding.
Get my gears grinding. And then check this out. Another thing they do, multi-user, multi-device AR experience synchronization.
What does that mean?
That means PvP to me. That's what that means.
Yeah, you can move around in the real world and like...
It's saying that we would be able to have some type of shared space with another user. So picture I meet you physically somewhere and we're going to do a PvP battle. Mm-hmm. We could be holding out our phone and I see my Pokemon in the AR space. You're seeing from your angle your Pokemon in the AR space. But from my angle, I'm seeing what you're seeing. And it's a shared experience.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if we were in the future and we had like a wearable on our head or glasses or something like that, it would be cooler than having to look just through a phone. But this is the future, man. I'm super excited about this kind of stuff. So it's a very small team they acquired, but the team is doing cool stuff. So, if you want to nerd out on it, I'd love to kind of hear ideas of what you think the possibilities are here. But I don't know. I see a lot of cool opportunity here to do some groundbreaking stuff in the AR space that, other AR games are kind of, no one's really doing it in a game format. You have these experiences or these tech demos where this stuff is happening. So incorporating it into a game, I don't know, man. I get like the Mr. Burns fingers, like, yes, give me the AR. Bring the AR goodness to the game, yes. Another thing I want to talk about, and we don't even have to spend too much time on this, the next wave of EX raid passes went out last week for a raid that happened yesterday. System's still broken. It's still broken. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even know where to go with it. People are still, salty about how it works.
You'll get it when you get it.
Well, look, my raid group.
Or you won't.
Exactly. It's like, dude. Well, Joe, on your show, didn't Brian get 5 EX passes?
He's gotten at least 5, but we haven't been able to reach him since the latest went out, so he may have gotten 6.
That's cray.
Although he's been traveling, so even if he got the 6th one, he probably couldn't have used it.
That is totally nuts.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, but that is nuts. That is so nuts. Look, there's been proven ways to trigger EX raids. Go Hub put out the article a couple weeks ago, and I'm fortunate enough to have some very core players in my area that are nerding out and really trying to crack the system here. We've created a Discord channel specifically to coordinate EX raid passes, and we've been doing a good job of hitting sponsored gyms and keeping track of the point tally. And I think currently right now in this window, we're almost up to the enough points in the EX. If you read Go Hub's article, they explain how the point system works. But you take the number of trainers that complete the raid times the level of the raid. Each thing's going to give you a point. Once you reach a certain point, that could turn the location on to trigger an EX raid. We're almost there because everyone has been raiding nonstop at this gym. It's going to be awesome if this actually works and we trigger it. But
my question was is once it's triggered as an EX raid spot, do you need that many people and that many points again to trigger an EX raid pass?
Yeah, it would need to happen every time. Every cycle. It would reset.
In my area, the one place that we just found out was an EX raid pass location, there hasn't been a raid in a week.
Wow.
And there was one tonight, just as I was leaving work, and I was able to get 8 people together, and we battled a Kyogre. And so, now do I wait and hope that that's one?
Well, who knows? That's the thing. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because it's like there was some data that was kind of really, really crunched on talking about what Niantic's original information of how an EX pass would be, come out by raid volume and gym level badge and all that kind of stuff. And someone completely, debunked all of that based on all user created and user sourced data. So who knows? You know what I mean? It's like we really don't know. But what we know for sure is that we can at least get results and trigger the raids if we kind of force the point value on the raid or on the location, because people are reporting back and say, look, I've done 300 legendary raids or 300 regular raids. I've never gotten an EX pass. And then they do 1 week of concerted efforts using Go Hub's techniques, and then they get an EX raid pass delivered to them. So people are seeing results, and my group fortunately is got their heads together right now, and if it's gonna happen, hopefully I get one and I'm not working that day. I might have to call out sick or something like that.
All right, I already told my boss. I said, listen, it's pretty much like a once. I don't know if I'll ever get it again. So no matter what time it is, I don't care if it's on a Saturday. I don't care when it is. I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll come in and work, and then I'll leave, go do it, and come back. But when that raid time happens, I'm not going to be here.
Well, we got lucky when Melissa got the EX raid pass for when we went to Philly for the raid train event, and we played all throughout Philly the whole day. She did one raid at Love Park right in the center of Philly. It was the first time she ever interacted with the gym. I was in the same raid. I didn't get the pass. She did. But, we had to drive out to Philly, to go do the raid. It was like it wasn't even a local gym. But what we were saying after we made that trip, because we literally drove into Philly, did the raid, jumped right back in the car, and we were home in 3 hours door to door or something like that. And she was like, "That was awesome." Remember? You were like,
it was.
It was cool because it really got you out there. And it was freezing that day, too.
Oh,
it was
God,
like,
it was so
like
brick
single
cold.
digits or something like
I
that.
hated it so much, but I was so happy to have that Mewtwo in my decks.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because
so
but now it's like whenever we talk smack about EX Raid, she's kind of biting her lip because she's like, I got a Mewtwo.
And Ken and I are in this heated battle to see who can get one first.
Dude, man, I got the Discord on lockdown.
I know,
right
you got
now,
the Discord.
Man.
I'm just figuring out how to use Discord.
It's the greatest thing ever if you use it responsibly, because there's some channels that I'm part of, and I don't even go in there anymore because it's like the dark pits of Pokemon Go with bots and trackers and cheaters and all that stuff, and it's like it takes it to another level. So as long as you use Discord responsibly and use it really from a user-sourced point of view and use the tools like MeowthBot that are created to only be powered by people and not by automation, then it's like, all right, that's what kind of makes me feel good about the whole thing. But when, you got bots kind of spitting locations and coordinates out to you, it's like, dude, play the 3DS game or something if you want to just stay in your room.
I'm so glad I have you to show me where to go and tell me where to go. Because
I don't know where to go.
I follow you.
All right, well, check this out. We went out to Keensburg. So last week we did a Keensburg run, and it was awesome. We had Wild Charizard, Arcanine, Porygon, Hitmonlee. We had all these crazy spawns. And it was raining in Jersey today, and I'm like, Lotad has been brutally rare in the area.
I haven't even seen one.
Until tonight,
yes.
Because it's raining. I'm like, let's go to Keensburg. It's on the water. I don't know. We went from having like single-digit candies. I think when we left there, we're probably up to about 180, 190 Lotad candies. They were everywhere. It was like the only Pokemon that was spawning. It was crazy.
I'll tell you exactly how many candies I wound up getting.
Yeah, it was awesome. So now it's like everyone that was with us will be able to evolve the whole Lotad line from just one day
to
of grinding.
137 candies.
Yeah, so you're set. You stopped catching them after 125. She's like, that's it. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good on the Lotads. It was crazy.
Well, that's like Aaron's. Aaron's for me up here. I have 286 candies.
What? They're so rare here.
Oh, yeah.
They're so
and
rare.
they're like everywhere for me.
That is nuts.
See, I've got a bunch of Aeron, but I don't have one that's a Wander yet, so I'm holding off on evolving an Aggron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it's so you get like the itchy trigger finger where you're just like, I just want the Dex entry. I'll just evolve one and then I'll get more candy, But yeah, sometimes holding out is the best thing to do.
Yeah, especially it makes you finding that silhouette in the wild that much more exciting.
When we were driving around looking for Lotad, we ended up finding a wild Lombre also.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
How do you have another Pikachu? I still don't have a Pikachu.
And then she's Melissa. And then what else did I catch? She's crazy. I caught an Anorith, a wild Anorith, and that was the first time I saw one of those. And for whatever reason, I was the only one that in our group tonight. I was the only one that it spawned for, and it wasn't on an incense or anything. So
hacks.
Yeah. Judge. Man, that tracker worked great. Joe, I got a question for you. How is the revive situation in your area? Have you seen a shortage of revives in any way?
I haven't, but then again, I don't battle as much as a lot of other people. So, I don't see an issue, but I'm sure that other people do. Because I have noticed that I'm getting them less.
It's weird. Like, I've got spots where I'll go to restock, and, in an hour and a half, I could spin like 150, 200 stops. It's crazy. It's so dense. And I'm getting 0 revives, like literally 0. Now, if I spin a gym, I'll have that chance of, getting one here or there. That seems like it's still in the mix, but I posted on Twitter last week, asking the listeners, like, if they're seeing this, and I'm getting a mixed response. Some people are saying, yes, no revives at all. Terry Wolf responding, he goes, no, I'm good. I'm blowing through these things 50 a day, and it's all good. So it's interesting that it's not necessarily a consistent global issue, but it's hurting my region, my area, so bad that people are not even able to raid because all their good Pokemon are knocked out and they've got no way to revive.
Like me.
Like you?
I literally have 0 revives right now.
That's bad.
And thank God I have Kyogre, or else I'd be bitter.
You'd be the internet.
Oh,
Yes,
exactly, Adam. Exactly.
She'd be like carrying a pitchfork to San Francisco, banging on the door. Give me my revives, John Henke! Yeah, that's interesting. You know, it's going to be interesting to follow that because it's game breaking in this area, and it's crazy that, you know, a couple weeks ago when I first noticed it, I started changing my strategy with dropping off Pokemon at gyms because I used to drop like, you know, Snorlax and Blissey and all that, and I didn't want to waste the resources to revive them, so I just started dropping like Caterpies and Weedles and gyms now, and now I'm like, that's the best thing ever. That's all I do now. I still make 50 coins a day, and I never have to revive any Pokemon out of gyms. But I guess if it's not happening everywhere, it's going to be hard to kind of rally the troops. But it just seems weird that this area in particular is hit so hard with that weird glitch.
I know, likey.
And I checked the known issues page and the Niantic support Twitter, and I didn't see anything about it. So I gotta make a report and see if it can get any traction or anything like that. All right, before we wrap up the show, our last segment, the Battle Party. Ooh, ooh, Battle Party.
Battle party.
So every week we talk about a different situation, whether it's going to be a specific raid boss or a specific weather condition, some reason that you would build out a battle party. Today we're going to talk about cloudy weather battle parties. So this is an interesting one because we have not so powerful Pokemon in some of these types. So you have fairy, fighting, and poison types that are boosted during cloudy weather. And typically, fairy and poison you don't necessarily think of as strong attackers because they haven't had any relevance in the meta in regards to attacking a specific gym boss, you know, or a raid boss. So, you know, now that we have Gardevoir in the mix, that's going to be clearly the best fairy attacker in the game. But the weird part about fairy attackers is there's no fairy attackers in the game that have fairy quick moves. They're all off type. So like Gardevoir, you can get Confusion and Dazzling Gleam. Same thing with like Wigglytuff. You just can't get a fairy quick move. So you're never going to have a fast move that's going to give you stab, which is a bummer. Maybe they'll change that in the future, but really, if you want to bring a fairy into battle, I would bring Gardevoir. I mean, that's clearly the answer. And then fighting, it's clearly Machamp.
With the fairy type, that could see some play when Rayquaza comes out, since he is Dragon type. I know that like you said, the fast move won't be super effective, but that Dazzling Gleam is going to hit pretty hard.
Dude, I've taken some shots from Blissey before where you don't necessarily think that Blissey can be a strong attacker, but I've taken some Dazzling Gleams from Blissey and like they hurt. So if you've got a high attack stat and Dazzling Gleams, yeah, sure, you're going to be putting out some DPS for sure.
Yeah, that's the only fairy type that I'll be bringing because I have 100% Blissey.
Oof.
And it's got Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, there you go. But with fighting, we have Machamp. You know, ever since they made Machamp a raid boss, you know, he's just become readily available, and especially if, you know, you've got your battle parties together and you can solo a Machamp, you know, you can go around grinding them and kind of just hunting for one with good IVs. But there's a lot of fighting type Pokemon in the game that have counter Dynamic Punch. So if you have that combo in a fighting Pokemon, that's going to be awesome in cloudy weather. So, you know, if you're going up against like an Aggron in the cloudy weather and you've got Machamp or anything that has counter Dynamic Punch, you're golden. Hariyama also is a good...
or Heracross.
Or Heracross. Oh, we're going to Disney in September. Mm-hmm. So excited.
Can I come?
It's like...
Just take my phone.
It's like, did I book the vacation so I could go to Disney or so I could catch Corsola and Heracross?
Well,
I'll hide in the suitcase.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't have to battle this time that you need to split your time evenly between Pokemon and Disney.
No, you can't. Dude, it's like the Mecca. Like I walk into the gates of the Magic Kingdom and turn the game on, and it's like I fall to my knees and just start crying. Like I've reached Mecca,
Pokemon Mecca, and I'm like, you're in Disney.
You're like the most magical world,
dude. There was so many stops, and you know we haven't been there in close to 2 years. So it was right when the game had launched. So the game was underdeveloped at that point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, now I'm excited to get some gym badges and stuff because this was when we were there. They didn't have the gym badge system. So got to get that Mickey, got to get those Mickey badges. Yeah. So if you have cloudy weather, bring Machamps. They're gonna wreck shop. And then poison. I'm always for trying to find some degree of diversity in gym battling and raid battling. So bring a muck. Why not, right? Get poison jab and gunk shot. When else are you going to use muck? You might as well.
Or swallow.
Or swallow. Yeah, you could do that, but muck is cooler. But swallow does have... Swallow can get poison jab, gunk shot also, I think. I think it can. But anytime you can stack a weather bonus with a stab bonus, you're going to be in good shape. So for my cloudy weather battle party, I'm bringing 2 Gardevoir, a couple Machamps, and I'll throw a muck in there for good luck. A muck for good luck. But Joe, you said you don't play the gyms too much. So, have you experienced the weather system at all? Like, have you ever seen? Have you ever fought any Pokemon that have had a weather boost and kind of, felt the burn of getting a weather boosted solar beam or something like that?
I mean, it's really not that big of a bonus. If you're raiding, it's much more important, obviously, because they hit hard enough as it is, so you're gonna be able to take less of their charge moves. But as far as the gyms go, most of the gyms that I run into in my normal spot, because most of my gameplay is early morning, so most of the gyms have sat overnight and just deprecated. So
nice. You go clean up.
Exactly. And so I'll go in, and on my normal path, there's 5 gyms within about 1.2, 1.3 kilometers.
Nice.
And so I'll wipe all of that. I'll hit the 17 stops that are there, and I'll do that 3-4 times before I go to work.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's nice.
Yeah, it's an insane spot, like Disney level insane. How many stops and stuff there is at this little park.
Yeah, that's like that's where we go. Is we go to downtown Red Bank, New Jersey. That's where like Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash is. All the Kevin Smith films were shot. I don't know if you're into any of that, but that area, and it's the same thing within a 3-block radius. There's probably, I think it's something like close to 35 stops. So you can drive through the whole thing in probably 6 or 7 minutes, but depending on the traffic. Like I said, 75 stops per half an hour you can hit. So it
was a lot of fun when I did it.
Restock heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And then it's a struggle because you find something rare that pops up, and you're like, "Do I catch it or do I keep spinning stops?"
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. That it's great for restocking. It's real crummy for spawns. This place has terrible spawns. You got to drive out to where we went today to get the good spawns. But that's pretty much going to wrap up the show. Joe, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. I'm so glad that we're able to get you on. Plug away, man. Plug away the show. Let us know where people can find you, find the show, and anything you got. Let us have it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun being here. You can find me on Twitter at Joseph_Ard, or if you want to find my geek blog, that's Assorted Geekdom. And of course, you can find me as far as the Pokemon Go podcast at Pokemon Go Pod, or if you just go to Google and type in Pokemon Go Podcast, we're the first 6 results. So you can find us there.
Awesome. I encourage everyone to check it out. It was, when I first started listening to Pokemon Go Podcast, it was one of the first that I had come across. So I'm glad that we were able to get you on and get you connected here. So I can be found personally at ProudGamerTweet. Melissa is Super Sweet Miss. Adam, where can they find you on Twitter?
Phoenix back for fire.
And everything about the show you can find at GottaWatchTheMall.com. We're at GottaWatchTheMall on Twitter. We hope to hear from everyone soon. We'll see everyone next week. Peace out. Bye-bye. Peace.